Well, good morning, everybody. Let's see, we got people coming on. That is good. That is good. And let me know if the background, if you would prefer, let me know in the chat if you prefer I didn't have the background turned on and just use what's normal, because I feel like my head it's not keeping up well. I think I already know the answer to that. So let me see if I can go fix that. There we go. There we go. That's going to be better. I think it won't bother me anyways. Um, Good morning, everybody. I'm Dr. Jeff Evenson. I'm a board certified doctor of holistic health, founder and practitioner at Evenson Holistic Natural Health Center. I am not a medical doctor. I do not practice medicine. I don't pretend to do so. I do not diagnose or treat. And instead, I help people get their health back through natural means. Um, when I thought about the show for today, I was thinking about, I wanted to talk about GLP-1, okay? And because everybody out there is, it's in the news, everybody's talking about it. And the fact that everybody's talking about it, I decided, you know what? I want to look at this issue deeper than what the GLP-1 shots are doing, okay? I want to kind of peel back what's going on behind the scenes that drives people to doing the GLP-1 uh, shot. So if you're just jumping on the show, looks like some people are the system is letting people in and bouncing them out and letting them in. Um, Say hi in the chat when you pop on. Tell me where you're watching from. It's always fun to see that. And so last weekend I did not get to stream. I was down at a workshop in Kentucky. Uh, it was put on by the vendor, one of the main vendors that I use, Energetics, and it was a great workshop on homeopathy and how they come up with the tinctures and build the tinctures and working with the herbs and all that kind of stuff. And I have a greater understanding and appreciation of um, what goes into those products, and even it, and they covered enough of the principles of homeopathy to help understand that too. And that's all stuff I studied in school too, but it's nice to see it from the vendor's perspective on what their thinking is behind designing their products. Okay. Um, so that was good. So anyway, that was on Saturday morning. There and we were in a different time zone, so I totally spaced out doing the show. And then on Sunday, I was up early to hit the road so I could get back home. And I just did not get the show together for last weekend. So, but anyway, grab your coffee. Good morning. It is Saturday. Pull up a chair and let's have one of those real kitchen table conversations that we do here every Saturday. And if you're new, welcome. If you've been with me a while, you know I don't sugarcoat this stuff. And today we're going deep because what I want to talk about is affecting just about every family that I see, including probably yours. Okay, when you look around. We are in the middle of a generational health nightmare that's not getting worse. That is getting worse, not better. I get my words mixed up. Okay, kids, little kids are being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes before they even hit middle school. Some of them have adult onset diabetes. What the hell is that? Okay. Adults are walking around 40, 50, 60 pounds overweight, exhausted, foggy brained, and emotionally on a roller coaster, wondering why nothing seems to stick. And here's the part that keeps me up at night. We're handing this exact same pattern straight down to our children and grandchildren. It's a cycle that started decades ago and it's accelerating. Think back with me for a second, okay? When we were kids, how many of us had food used as a weapon? Eat your vegetables or no dessert. Clean your plate and you can go play. You had a bad day? Oh, here's a cookie. You did good in school? Let's celebrate with ice cream. Okay? Food wasn't just fuel, it was reward, punishment, comfort, love, control. We learned early that food could fix feelings, it could numb our pain, make us feel safe when the world didn't. So fast forward to adulthood, and here we are. Same habits, bigger bodies, more processed junk than ever before. And what are we feeding the next generation? The same garbage. Bread, pasta, cereal, candy, soda, chips, cookies. All that ultra-processed carbohydrate stuff that our bodies were never designed to handle in these amounts. Vegetables and real fruit don't make people fat. Beer and sugar-laden junk does. Okay? Every single time we eat that stuff, we're dumping inflammatory chemicals into a system that's already stressed, already toxic, already carrying heavy metals, environmental poisons, and who knows what parasite load from modern living. So the result, chronic, low-grade inflammation that locks fat in like a vault. The body isn't lazy. It's protecting you. Protecting you from the poison, protecting you from the emotions you haven't dealt with yet. And here's where it gets even darker. A lot of people see what's happening, and they just don't care anymore. Apathy sets in. Everyone's overweight. It's normal. I'll start Monday. Or they feel so overwhelmed by how deep the problem goes that they shut down completely. And that's one of the biggest blockages I run into as a coach, not lack of information, but the emotional numbness, the exhaustion, and that quiet voice that says, it's too late for me anyway. Add in the childhood traumas many of us carry. There's physical, verbal, emotional, even sexual abuse. And food becomes armor. It becomes the thing that keeps us feeling protected and safe when nothing else does. And the body holds on to the weight because letting it go feels scarier than staying stuck. Now, the mainstream answer? Just take a shot. GLP-1 drugs, Ozempic, Wegovy, all those. Every time I travel, I see those stupid-ass commercials. You know, with these people happy, the happy-go-lucky people. Bullshit. I call bullshit. And the commercials keep going, lose the weight without changing anything. Sounds great on the commercial, right? Well, except it's not fixing a single root cause. It's not healing the generational pattern. It's not teaching your kids a new relationship with real food. And for a lot of people, it comes with side effects, muscle loss, and the weight comes roaring back the minute you stop. It's a Band-Aid on a generational wound. It keeps the cycle alive. That's why today we're not talking quick fixes. We're talking real work, the deep work, the kind that actually breaks the chain so your kids don't have to inherit this. So we're going to lay out a clear roadmap, the same one I'm building out right now as I go back through Paul Chek's Holistic Lifestyle Coaching Program, so I can create something lasting for you. Okay? This would be like a self-guided kind of program. We're going to talk about changing your awareness first, then rebuilding with food as actual nourishment and medicine, while gently addressing the toxicity, the inflammation, the emotional layers that have to move before the fat can. And this is why, folks, this is why I do not do weight loss programs. When people come to me, if they're looking specifically for a weight loss program, this episode is going to cover the reasons why I don't do a weight loss program. So we're going to get into that. Because here's the truth I want you to sit with this morning. You are not broken, okay? You are carrying a pattern that can end with you. Your body wants to heal. Your kids are watching. And it is possible to get your energy back, your mind clear, your emotions steady, and your doctor visits way down. All while teaching the next generation how to use food the way nature intended. So stick with me. We're going slow today, but we're going deep. If any of this is hitting home, if you're tired of the apathy, tired of the cycle, and ready to feel that spark inside again, I want you to type "I'm in" the chat right now. Let's do this together. I'm in. Okay? All right. So the coffee's hot. Make sure you have that. So we're going to talk, this next section is the brutal truth about the generational trap and why shots won't save you. Okay? So I'm going to get a little hard on this one. So let's call it what it is. Okay? Most of us grew up in homes where food was the ultimate manipulator. Clean your plate or you're disrespectful. Behave and you get the treat. Okay? Cry and here's ice cream to shut it down. Struggle at school? Cookie. Win the game? Pizza party. That wiring got burned into our nervous system before we were old enough to question it. Food became love. Food became safety. Food became the one thing that never let us down when people did. Fast forward to today and look in the mirror. That same little kid is now 40, 50, 220 pounds overweight, reaching for the same bag of chips when life gets heavy. And what are we doing with our own children? Exactly the same garbage. You had a hard day, sweetie? Here's a Happy Meal. Finish your nuggets and you can have screen time. Clean your plate and you can leave the table. I remember as a kid falling asleep at the kitchen table because I would not clean my plate. I would not eat the peas or whatever the hell was put in front of me. I would not do that. And so when I reflect back on that today, I can picture myself as, well, fuck you. I'm going to just go to sleep right here then. That was how I resisted. But we're not raising kids anymore. We're raising another generation of emotional eaters who will be diabetic by 12 and on a GLP-1 shot by 25. And so here's where I'm going to get real with you. No fluff, okay? This is not a calories in, calories out problem. This is a generational addiction problem wrapped in emotional armor, soaked in toxicity, and protected by apathy. You're not just a little heavy. You're carrying unresolved trauma in your fat cells. You're carrying heavy metals, plastics, forever chemicals, and parasite loads that your grandparents never had to deal with. You're carrying inflammation so chronic that your body is literally scared to let the fat go. Because that fat is protecting you from the poison and the pain you haven't faced yet. And the so-called solution the medical system is pushing? Inject yourself with a peptide that shuts down your hunger, melts muscle along with fat, and does absolutely nothing about the root. Nothing about the childhood wounds. Nothing about the toxic load. Nothing about the fact that you still don't know how to feel feelings without food. That's not medicine, folks. That's chemical bypass. That's surrender. That's saying, I'm too weak, too broken, too far gone to do the real work. And every time you choose that needle, you're teaching your kids that the answer to their problems is another drug, not real food, real discipline, and real healing. It reminds me of this for me, even in my journey, and I'm 60 years old, and I'm still dealing with some of the fallout with my relationship with food. Okay, I know some people hate that term, relationship with food, but as I'm working with my physical trainer, my fitness trainer, last fall, it came up in my food journey that I had hit a plateau. I had stalled in my progression in terms of weight loss, the weight that he wants me to get at. And I had to look at it, and I realized that I had addressed what I thought was the side of the trauma relationship part of my food. Okay. Um, I recognized when I was eating comfort foods and all that kind of stuff, and I don't do that anymore. But I didn't address the reward side of the food because I would have a good day or successful day, and it's like, well, I'm just going to eat a little ice cream and sneak that in here. So he invited me to journal that part of my relationship with food. And it was remarkable because I finally realized that I was using that food as a reward. And in doing so, I was actually hurting myself and my progress and my goals for where I wanted my body to be. And once I made peace with that, had that awareness, then I started to find other ways to reward myself for having a good day. Okay. So listen to me when I say this. The body doesn't get fat from eating too many broccoli spears or too many blueberries. It gets fat, sick, and inflamed from the processed carbohydrates, the bread, the pasta, the cereal, the cakes, the candy, the soda, the beer. Every single bite of that crap is a vote for disease. Every time you hand it to your kid, you're signing their future health away. And that's why I'm so fired up about this. Okay. So if you're just joining the show, drop in the comments of where you're watching from. Yeah, of course your name will come through, but let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun to see where people are tuning in from. And I appreciate you jumping on the show and hanging with us. I like to think that I'm actually providing education. I feel I am. All right. So let's dive in a little deeper here. We have two layers that have to be peeled back if we're ever going to get free. Okay. And these layers, as I wrote these, I call them layer one and layer two, but there's really no specific order. You can work on layer two first because sometimes working on layer two actually opens up the route into layer one. Okay. And vice versa. So they're kind of interchangeable as I talk about these. But layer one, um, let's just call it, hey, Carmela, haven't seen you in a long time. I appreciate you tuning in. Um, the first layer we're going to talk about is the emotional and generational layer. Okay. This is the part nobody wants to talk about on TikTok. The childhood abuse, the yelling, the neglect, the sexual stuff, the I love you because you ate everything on your plate. Talk about conditional love. Until you start feeling safe without using food as armor, your body will hold on to every pound like it's life support. This is where a good counselor or talk therapist earns their keep, okay? And why a real health coach walks beside you instead of pushing you. A lot of these things will come up during a session when I'm working with my clients, and if I feel that it's going to go too deep for the scope of my practice, I would definitely recommend talk therapy to people. All right. The other layer, layer two, is the physical and toxic layer. Okay. Once the emotional guard starts to drop, we go after the real physical blockers. And these are heavy metals, environmental chemicals, parasite load, food sensitivities, gut damage. These are the things keeping the inflammation high and the metabolism locked in survival mode. Okay? This is not easy work, folks. This is warrior work. Okay? This is the road most people quit on before they even start because it demands something from them. Ownership. But here's the part that should light a fire in your chest. When you finally decide from deep inside that the cycle ends with you, everything changes. You get your energy back. You get your mind back. You get to play with your kids without huffing and puffing. You get to show up at work sharp instead of foggy. You get off the merry-go-round of prescriptions. And most importantly, you get to hand your children a completely different relationship with food. That is the legacy worth fighting for. So right now, in this moment, I want you to feel something. If this is stirring you up, if that old apathy is cracking just a little bit, type "I'm done with the cycle" in the chat, in the comments. Let me know you're still with me. Okay? Because next we're going to lay out the actual roadmap, the same one I'm building as I dive back into Paul Chek's holistic lifestyle coaching material, step by step, no fluff, real food as medicine, real awareness, real transformation. Okay? Are you ready? Let's keep going. Now, I know I said I didn't want to talk about GLP-1 at the beginning, but I did do an aside. Let's do a quick aside on GLP-1. The brutal shortcut, I call it the brutal shortcut, is exposed, all right? Yeah, so let's talk about this. Marie asked a great question. What do you know about all these natural oral GLP-1s I see popping up from trusted supplement companies and MLM companies like Young Living and Plexus? Just curious. It seems like they're all jumping aboard. And you're right, Marie. Everybody's jumping aboard, trying to come up with natural GLP-1s. Um, if you're going to use the natural ones, if you're going to use, my opinion on this on the spot is, if you're going to use any of these natural GLP-1s, pay attention to the show, because you still have to address all the underlying shit. They're not addressing the root cause. They're giving you a shortcut to try to get away from being hungry all the time and whatnot. And so this episode is what you want to listen to or share to people. Great question. I appreciate that question. So let me hit you with the part, and maybe your answer will shift too, or your question will shift too as you hear this next part. Now let me hit you with the part they don't show in the slick TV commercials, okay? They call them GLP-1 drugs. We're talking Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, all those monthly shots. Just inject it and watch the weight melt off without changing a thing. Okay? Sounds like the Holy Grail, right? Millions of people are lining up for it. Doctors are handing them out like candy. And right now in 2026, the hype is louder than ever. But here's the brutal, no sugarcoating truth nobody wants to say out loud. This is not healing. This is chemical surrender. Whether you're doing it with the prescription medication or whether you're doing it with the natural GLP-1s, it's surrender. It's not healing. You're not fixing the generational food trap. You're not healing the childhood wiring that makes you reach for food when you feel unsafe. You're not clearing the heavy metals, the plastics, the parasites, or the chronic inflammation that's actually locking the fat in. You're just turning down the hunger signal with a synthetic peptide or a natural one while your body slowly falls apart in ways the commercials never mention. So let's get real about what actually happens. First, the success, I'll do the air quotes on here, is an illusion. Yeah, a lot of people drop 15 to 30% of their body weight in the first year. But here's what they don't tell you on the glossy ads. 2/3 of that weight comes roaring back and then some the minute you stop the shots. Your metabolism, it's slower than it was before. You've lost muscle mass along with the fat. That's called sarcopenia, and it's brutal on your strength, your bones, and your hormones. And think about this, when you're losing muscle mass, it's not just in the arms and the legs and the rest of your body. What is the heart? It's a muscle. So now you're lighter, but weaker, softer, and your body is even more efficient at storing fat the next time you eat a normal meal. And this part kills me. Then come the side effects that make people quit or wish they never started. Nonstop nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, or the opposite, severe constipation that can land you in the ER, gallbladder attacks, pancreatitis, gastroparesis. That's where your stomach literally stops emptying and food just sits there rotting. You get the Ozempic face, where your skin sags and you look 10 years older because you didn't just lose fat. You lost the structural tissue that keeps your face looking human. You might have hair falling out in clumps. I'm a bad example. I'm reaching for my hair. Hair falling out in clumps. Nutrient deficiencies because you're barely eating. And the black box stuff they're still arguing about. Thyroid tumors, kidney damage, reports of suicidal thoughts, and a growing pile of lawsuits stacking up because people weren't warned how bad it could get. But the deepest cut, this shortcut keeps the cycle alive. You're still teaching your kids that the answer to feeling bad, stressed, or out of control is a needle or a pill. Not real food, not facing the trauma, not doing the warrior work. You're modeling for them that it's okay to bypass your body's signals instead of learning to listen to them. And when the weight comes back, because it almost always does, the shame and the apathy get even louder. See, I really am broken. Nothing works. That's exactly what Big Pharma wants, folks. Lifelong customers who stay dependent. I'm not saying this to shame anybody who's tried it. I get it. The exhaustion, the overwhelm, the feeling that I've tried everything else. But I'm saying it because I care enough to tell you the truth your doctor probably won't tell you. This is not medicine. This is very expensive. This is a very expensive, very profitable way to rent temporary thinness while your root causes keep growing in the dark. The real path, the one we're laying out today, is harder at the beginning because it demands awareness. It demands that internal, I'm done decision. It demands you face the emotional armor and clear the physical toxicity. But once you do, the weight stays off because your body isn't protecting you anymore. Your energy comes back for real. Your kids watch you model something completely different. And the generational curse actually ends with you. So if you're sitting there right now thinking, maybe I should just get the prescription, I want you to feel this in your chest. That shot might shrink the number on the scale for a little while, but it will never shrink the pattern you're carrying. It will never make you free. You deserve freedom. Your kids deserve to see what freedom looks like. That's why we're not doing shortcuts here on Saturday Morning Coffee. We're doing the real work. All right. So let me know if you have any other comments or experiences with any of this. Anything I'm saying that resonates, or questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. So this next section here is the roadmap. Okay, this is what some people might be tuning in for. Your real path back to health, energy, and legacy. All right, so you're still here. I appreciate that. That tells me something stirring in you, which is good. Because now we're moving from the brutal truth into the actual battle plan. Okay, this isn't theory. This is a roadmap that I'm building right now as I'm working on as I redo Paul Chek's holistic lifestyle coaching program. And this was a coaching program I did, gosh, back in 2011. When I first got into holistic care, I went through this holistic lifestyle coaching program, and they've done some updates to the program. And no, I don't have to do it to recertify or anything, but I thought this was a good time to take a step back and re-review this stuff. And so as I do that, it reminds me of things. It kind of stirs up my imagination on how I can use the information to help people that I'm coaching with. Hey, good morning, Don. Glad to see you on the show. All right. So the same principles I want to turn into a evergreen course, which is a self-paced course. So you can do this work on your own timeline, or you can do it with me as your coach walking beside you. Okay. So here's the truth most people never hear. All right. Here it is. You don't need another diet. You need a total reset of how you relate to food, your body, your past, and your future. And it starts with 2 internal shifts before we ever touch a plate. Okay, step one, change your awareness. Look, you can't change what you refuse to see. Most of us are walking around in a fog of generational programming. We eat without thinking. We reward ourselves with poison and call it treating ourselves. We watch our kids do the same and tell ourselves it's normal. So today I want you to wake up. Before every single meal, ask yourself one simple question. Is this food nourishing me and healing me? Or am I using it to numb, comfort, or escape? Start noticing the patterns. Notice when you reach for the bread or the beer because you're stressed, bored, or lonely. Notice how your grandparents and parents modeled the exact same thing. Awareness is the first crack in the armor. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that's exactly where the power begins. Okay? Step two, make the choice from deep inside. This is the part the GLP commercials will never talk about. Okay? Nobody else can do this for you. Not your spouse, not your doctor, not me. The desire has to rise up from inside your own chest. I've seen it happen with clients. One day they're apathetic, stuck, numb, and then something clicks. They get sick and tired of being sick and tired. They look at their kids and realize, I don't want to hand them the struggle, the same struggle. That internal, I'm done moment is everything. Okay? If that spark is even flickering in you right now, fan it. Fan the spark. Say it out loud. The cycle ends with me. Type it in the chat if you're feeling it. The cycle ends with me. That decision is the fuel. Without it, nothing else works. With it, watch what happens. Step three, rebuild with food as nourishment and medicine. Okay, now we get practical. We shift gradually. No crash diets. No perfectionism. We move from the standard American diet, the standard American poison diet, to real whole food that actually supports your body. What does that mean? It means cut the processed carbs that are driving the inflammation. The bread, pasta, cereal, cakes, candy, soda, most of the beer that's out there. That inflammation right there is the true cause of heart disease, folks. The second thing, bring in the foods that heal. Vegetables, all the colors, okay? Quality proteins, healthy fats, some fruit, and foods that repair the gut. Like the sauerkrauts and the probiotics, kimchi, fermented foods, that's a word I was looking for. Okay? And then eat like your ancestors ate before corporations took over the food system. Food becomes information. Every bite either builds health or builds disease. So you don't have to go 100% organic tomorrow. That's not what I'm talking about. Just start making better choices. One meal at a time, and your body will respond. It's going to surprise you. All right, step 4, clear the physical blockers. Once the emotional layers start moving and you're eating cleaner, we go after what's really locking the fat in. Toxicity and heavy metals, environmental chemicals, parasite load. hidden food sensitivities, and gut damage. This is where a good holistic coach becomes gold. We use gentle drainage, targeted support, and the right timing so your body can finally let go instead of holding on for protection. No harsh flushes, no overwhelm, just steady, intelligent work. And I posted a couple shorts out this week, and you can find them on the Facebook profile or on LinkedIn. I've been building out my LinkedIn profile again. You can find them out there because I'm talking about how I create a program, and I don't just create a program and hand it to you and say good luck. We're going to be working together every step of the way if you decide to work with me. Okay. And remember earlier I said when we're, because this section I said, once the emotional layers start moving and you're eating cleaner, then we go after what's locking in the fat. Sometimes we have to go after what's locking in the fat because there's just no energy, nothing for your body to work with. So I might start you on some working after the toxicity, heavy metals, and the environmental chemicals and the parasite load to start unlocking some of that, because some of that, in my opinion, also locks in the emotional load that you're carrying. And when your body feels so suppressed and so depleted and so sick, you can't even think outside of the next 10 minutes sometimes. And so we're going to go after some of these physical things. And that is going to lead us into at some point where you can start, oh, now I have energy. Now your brain is starting to come back online. Now you can start thinking about the emotional blocks, the emotional aspects of what is going on with your food and your life. Okay. Step 5 here is bringing the kids along and break the chain. This is the legacy piece. Model the new way. Teach them food is fuel and joy, not reward or emotional anesthesia. Pack real lunches. Eat together at the table. I know, crazy, right? Don't use the TV trays. Dedicate this time to eat at the table. Let them see you choosing vegetables and feeling strong. That's how the generational curse actually dies. Okay? When you do this work, the benefits hit on every level. Energy that lets you play with your kids without getting winded. A clear, sharp mind instead of brain fog. Emotions that don't swing like a wrecking ball. Way fewer doctor visits and prescriptions. And a body that feels like it's on your team again. This is warrior work. It's not always easy. Some days you'll want to quit. Some days the old comfort foods will call your name. That's normal. That's why you don't have to do it alone. You can walk this solo with the course that I'm building. I haven't built it yet. Or you can team up with me as your holistic lifestyle coach. Either way, the work is yours, and it's worth it. It's crazy stuff. Now, if you want to have help working on this stuff, I am here for you. I just turned on the ticker on the bottom of the screen. You can go to my profile from whatever platform you're watching on and go to my web link. And there's buttons all over. I just revamped the website. You'll find the spot easy to make an appointment. You can schedule a free discovery call if you go to the appointments section menu, or you can jump in right now with a full health assessment. And I'm running a special with the full health assessment. Folks, it's at $150. Okay. Use the promo code that's on there. And the promo code is all caps, ready150. Let me put that in the chat for you. In the comments. Ready150. Use this as a promo code. And the website, I'll put that in the chat too, is right there. And do that. If this episode touched something in you, or you can think of somebody that might benefit from the information in this, forward the link to the episode after we're done. Okay? Or please send them my website with this promo code, and we can do a full health assessment, in person or remote. All right? So, we've covered a lot of ground this morning, family. We looked at how deep this generational food trap really goes. From the childhood rewards and punishments that wired us to use food as armor, to the toxicity, the inflammation, the apathy that keeps so many of us stuck, to the brutal truth that those GLP-1 shots are just an expensive chemical detour that leaves the real problems growing in the dark. But we didn't stop there. We laid out the real roadmap. And that's step 1, wake up your awareness. Step 2, make that deep internal choice. The cycle ends with me. Step 3, rebuild with real food as nourishment and medicine. Step 4, clear the physical blockers. Toxicity, parasites, heavy metals, inflammation. And step 5, bring the kids along and break the chain for good. This is the work that I'm rebuilding on right now. I'm turning these principles into something you can follow step by step as an evergreen course that you can do on your own, or we can do it together as I coach you one-on-one as your holistic lifestyle coach. Okay? You're also getting the benefits of the holistic health doc. And yeah, I know it feels big. Some days it will feel damn near insurmountable. Okay? The old comfort foods will call you. The trauma will whisper. The apathy will try to creep back in. That's normal. But remember, this is warrior's work. But you don't have to do it perfectly, and you don't have to do it alone. So imagine for a second what life looks like on the other side, where you wake up with real energy, not the fake jittery kind, but the kind that lets you chase your kids around the yard without getting winded. Your mind is clear instead of foggy. Your emotions are steady. No more massive swings that leave everyone walking on eggshells. You walk into the doctor's office less and less because your body is finally working with you instead of against you. You look in the mirror and see someone who feels strong, capable, and free from the generational burden you've been carrying. Most importantly, your children are watching a completely different model. And trust me, your children are watching you. They're learning that food is fuel, joy, and medicine. Not reward, not punishment, and not emotional anesthesia. The cycle of diabetes, obesity, brain fog, and dependency actually stops with you. That is the legacy worth every hard day. So here's my ask right now, right here on the Saturday morning. If anything we talked about lit a spark in you, if that old numbness is cracking and you can feel the I'm done rising up, type "the cycle ends with me" in the comments. Let me see you. Let the whole room see you. That one declaration is powerful. And if you're ready to stop doing this solo and want real guidance, message me. Please. Tell me where you're at. We'll talk about working together or point you toward the course I'm building. Whether you go solo with me with the roadmap or team up with me, the work is yours. And it's the most important work you'll ever do for yourself and for the kids who are watching. So thank you for sitting with me this morning. Thank you for caring enough about your health and your family to go this deep on Saturday. You're not broken. You're not too far gone. You're exactly where you need to be to start the real healing. Food can be medicine again. Your body can trust you again. Your bloodline can be different. The cycle ends with you. I'll stick around for any Q&A. Fire away with your questions on trauma, detox, kids, meals, parasites, nervous system stuff, whatever's on your heart. I'm here for you. And until next Saturday, drink your water, eat something real, and go be the change your family needs. Okay? I'll close with a prayer, and if you have any comments or questions, post them. Heavenly Father, thank you for this morning together and for shining your light on the generational chains we've been carrying. Give us the courage to face the wounds of the past, the wisdom to choose real food as the nourishment and medicine you designed it to be, and the strength through your Holy Spirit to break free from the patterns that have held us back. Lord Jesus, help us forgive ourselves and those who came before us, heal our bodies, steady our minds, calm our emotions, and fill us with fresh energy so we can raise our children in your ways. Let this be the generation where the cycle of sickness and bondage ends and where your freedom begins. Guide us one meal, one day, one obedient step at a time. We declare it, the cycle ends with us by your grace. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. All right, folks, that was a fun show. Hopefully you got something out of that today. If you did, throw it in the comments. I'd be curious to know what you heard that resonated with you. Or you can direct message me and we can talk about it. But look forward to your call. Look forward to seeing you on the calendar if you're considering that. So I know there's a delay, so that's why I'm sitting here for a second. Okay. Well, if I see the comments come up after I stop the live show, then the system will tell me and I will answer them in the comments. So until next week, I love you guys. This was episode 95. We will see you next week. Adios.